somewhat, but we have by no means subdued it. And the tremendous vulnerability of women and girls, which is a direct reflection of gender inequality, is what I must admit drives me crazy. Incredibly enough, of the 23 million people living with the virus in Africa, 61% are women and girls. And if you look at that 15 to 24-year-old age group, 75 to 80% are young women and girls. It's like some kind of conspiracy, some kind of Darwinian selection focused totally on one sex. And because of sexual inequality and the absence of sexual autonomy, women are tremendously vulnerable. And the contagion of sexual violence, which is appearing so often in the world, where rape is no longer a weapon of war, but is a strategy of war, and where the dimension of brutality associated with rape in places like Darfur and the Congo and Liberia and northern Uganda, the ferocity of raping and sexual violence is such that we have developed, certainly in the eastern Congo, a new medical term called vaginal destruction, where the sexual and reproductive organs of the women are so damaged that they are sometimes beyond surgical repair. The use of mutilation and amputation and knives and guns, it leaves one bewildered about the capacity for human depravity. We know what happened in Cambodia, and we certainly know what happened in the Balkans, and we know what's happening in Colombia. This is not a purely African phenomenon. This is a phenomenon of gender inequality. And one of the factors at work here, which is so important, is to make it real for people. The damage that is done to women, whether it's female genital mutilation or sexual trafficking or child brides or honor killings or the lack of property rights or the lack of inheritance rights or the absence of microcredit to allow them some economic independence or political representation or futile laws against sexual violence and rape, all of these things are monstrous in their implications for the lives of women around the world. And it's terribly, terribly important that this be conveyed and that people take a stand and that the work at empowering women and freeing them from this construct proceeds apace. And to the degree that anyone is able to do that by raising awareness in the community, raising consciousness, and if I may say so, even thinking creatively, perhaps almost in an inspirational way, of the use of science to make some of these realities vivid and searing in the minds of the observer, it would make all the difference in the world. Because what's happening in all of this around HIV is the incredible carnage leaving behind millions of orphans who have no idea, completely bewildered at the sudden loss of the anchor of their life. They stand in their huts and they watch their parents die.